Hey everyone, so I am currently in a model of one of my favorite builders to shoot for, Star Homes, here in Kansas City. I came here and set the video up, or the video camera up, and wanted to show you guys, kind of walk you through my process as far as from shooting an area all the way to editing to the final image. So I'm thinking of possibly breaking it up into two photos, or two videos. This first video being the actual shooting part, and the next video will be the editing phase, because I don't want the videos to be too long. Anyway, so I unloaded the equipment, set up. I wanted to do kind of a hero shot of the living room here, and unfortunately the television is not installed. And as you might be able to see, there's little bits of tape as far as checklist items, things that need to be touched up, redone. Anyway, so I showed up, set it up. Television is not set up. In fact, it's here, sitting on the floor. So that will have to be moved. And then just some subtle rearranging of the furniture and pillows, things like that. So I just wanted to walk you through the process and just give you a peek behind the curtain and show you how I put a final image together. So, step one, figuring out how to easily move this television. I'm gonna move it over to the dining room. All right, so I wanna make sure all the pillows and everything's straight. Angle that a bit more. And then these little stools here in front of the fireplace. This coffee table, there's a little bit too much blank space right here before. Okay, let's get to shooting. So right now, the video camera that I'm recording on is right next to my main camera, which I'll actually be shooting the stills on. So it's a Sony a7 III. I'm gonna be hooking up the camera remotely to my iPad via a Cam Ranger, which I should do a whole nother video on that. That thing's a lifesaver. Let me take a few brackets, kind of starting from very, very bright to fairly dark, and kind of give you my thought process as to what I'm thinking as I'm shooting. I'm shooting at ISO 100, f9, and right now the shutter speed is at a 1/4 of a second. And that's pretty bright. I'm gonna go down to 1/6 of a second. And I'm gonna go down another to 1/10, another to 1/15. I might do two more. One at 1/25, and then a final one at 1/40th. Now, as you'll see in the one taken at 1/40th, definitely being able to get a lot of detail outside the windows. Here's the catch though, it's gray, it's overcast, it's just real dull. Yeah, there's a real nice pond in the back, and I don't know, I'm on the fence. I might kind of bring back some more of that detail. I'm not really that concerned with it because it's not an amazing, it's not a just absolutely gorgeous shot. Now, if it was green, we had blue skies and full luscious trees out there, yes, definitely. I would really try to get a little bit more detail. I wouldn't make it look like it was the same exact exposure as the inside. I don't want the windows to look like televisions or posters. Personally, I hate that look. But as far as shooting interiors, I really like shooting on days like this because with it being gray and overcast, all the natural light that's coming in through the windows is very soft and diffused, and I'm not competing with any real harsh sunlight. And the other thing, shooting around the fall, winter, this time of year, the other big benefit is that the natural light that's coming in is not bouncing off green grass. It's not bouncing off full trees or the green leaves, meaning a lot of the light that's coming in, I'm not getting that green hue to it. A benefit if you're an interiors photographer and say your client says, well, it's gray and overcast and it's really not that bright outside, I actually look forward to that. I love shooting interiors on a day like today. Okay, so I think I'm ready to start actually taking the shots that I really want to start building with in Photoshop. Catch is, I want this photo to look like kind of that natural light streaming across basically I want that window to be the main source of light, or at least that's what it looks like in the final photo. Here's the catch though, and I'm gonna move the camera around. So this is the other angle. I'm also kind of competing against the light coming from the dining room. Now granted, it's coming from the same direction, but I want this final image to look very moody, very dramatic. And if I'm getting light coming from this area, I think it's just kind of, it's just gonna add some fill light that I don't necessarily want in the final image. But the biggest thing that I'm competing against in this shot when it comes to lighting is right behind the camera, this direction. It's this right here, the foyer. The light is coming in the exact opposite way of the main light, that I want to show off, which is the windows, which right now is almost behind the camera from that direction. But I'm competing with light coming in through the front door, and you may not be able to see it, but there are a couple windows up top, or at the top of the foyer as well. It's a 2-story foyer. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to set up the shot and use some blackout curtains to kind of cut out the light coming from these different areas. And then the issue is, since I don't have an assistant today, I'm by myself, how am I actually gonna do that? We'll see. Okay, so here is what I think we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna use my blackout curtains. I'm definitely gonna have to close the door to this little hearth room office looking area. And then I am able to reach wide enough that if I set my camera on a timer and hold my blackout curtains up manually, I should be able to cover up all this light by myself. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I'll be able to do it. I'll look really goofy doing it, but it's the benefit of being on a shoot by yourself. Again, what you're gonna see, these are the JPEG straight out of camera, no editing has been done. I'm gonna start off right now shooting at, well, let's see. All right, so it's about 1/4 of a second. That on its own, it's not a bad photo. There's still some things that we're gonna do as far as the editing side, just to really make it pop. I know that's a cliche term to use. So far, I'm liking the composition. What I'm trying to go for is somewhat of an interior design type of look. As you can see in the image itself, there are some beautiful beams up top. Now, I've shot this house, shot the whole house a few days ago. The builder loves the big wide open shot. So I did do a shot showing a lot of the ceiling beams all the way to about the floor, which you see in the still image itself. But I want to go in a little bit tighter, and the final image itself might even be tighter than what you're seeing right now, because I really want to showcase the details of the furniture and the fixtures in there. So yeah, I'll probably crop in a little bit tighter as far as a final image. Okay, so let's start shooting down. And what I want to do is shoot down to a point where I think on its own it's gonna look good, but then I'm gonna go over and cut out the light coming from the foyer. On its own, I really like that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the blackout curtain, go over to the front door, take the same shot, no change in exposure, ISO, f-stop, nothing like that. It's a subtle difference. It's not gonna make or break the photo, but I think it's gonna help add a little bit more to the drama of the final image. So I'm gonna hit capture, try to grab the corners and block out the light coming from the front door as much as possible. All right, let's see if that made any difference. Hey, a little bit. You can definitely see it on the back of the couch. That's before, that's after. Again, it's not a massive difference, but we're just adding a little bit more mood. Okay, so I don't think we're gonna notice a huge, massive difference in the quality of the image or the lighting itself by blocking out the light from, say, the office. But the biggest one, as you can probably see, was coming from the window. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same exact thing I'm gonna try to block out, I'm not gonna be able to block out 100% of it, but try to, a good chunk of the light that's coming from this side, which is the dining room area where the TV is sitting right now. So I'm gonna hold up the blackout curtain again and see what difference it makes. I think most of the difference you're gonna be able to see is on the back side of these chairs. This is a quick look at the actual backdrop I'm using. This thing is massive. I think it's 10 by 20. Cool. That turned out the way I had hoped. So here comes one of my favorite parts. This is what kind of gives my style of photos their signature look. So I'm gonna change the shutter speed to about 1/160 to maybe 1/200 to cut out a lot, if not most, of the ambient light. I'm gonna change the ISO to 400 because I don't wanna have to pump my flashes all the way to full power to get the most out of, man, I feel like I have a wandering hair. Lovely gray. Anyway, I'm gonna change the ISO to 400 so I'm not having to crank up the flashes to almost full power, running out the batteries a lot. The ISO, I'm gonna take it down to 250. So roughly about halfway where it was before. Let's try it again where I'm not in the shot. All right, so here is my secret weapon. This is what helps give my photos kind of their, I don't know what you call it, Matthew Anderson look. So this is a portable, kind of an easy setup, Pro Studio softbox. or octabox, I guess as you would call it. I like it because it kind of helps mimic some natural light because of how big this is. I use this mainly to light up different elements of a room to really bring out the detail in some areas that might otherwise be lost just straight out of camera shot. Although a straight out of camera shot might look pretty, there might be details and intricacies to maybe the fabric or some fixtures or something like that. Maybe the grain in the wood that would otherwise be lost. And by really singling out different parts and lighting them up individually, I can enhance them and bring them back into that ambient shot, yet still make it look natural. Making it look natural, that's the tough part. All right, so I'm at half power right now, 1/16 of a second, f9, ISO 250. I'm gonna light up kind of this fireplace sitting stool area, see what this looks like. It looks nice, but as you can tell, I'm getting a little bit of reflection off of the tile of the fireplace, and in my opinion, this is a little bit too bright. So I'm gonna take it down to about 1/4 power, and I'm gonna shoot a little bit more perpendicular to the fireplace. So we got rid of that big glare on the fireplace, and there's kind of a nice gradient fall off of light going from the right side of the fireplace to the left. I like that, and I like the shadow on the left side of each one of the stools. I think I'm gonna subtly blend that in and add a little bit more drama to that particular space. I'm gonna do a full-on straight shot of this this is just pure information. If I wanna cut out some of the glare from the right side of the fireplace, I can use this exposure to kind of blend that back in. I'm gonna do the same thing to really highlight this shelf area with this textured wallpaper. See what that looks like. That looks all right. It's a little bit too bright in my opinion, but I can lower the exposure for that. Let's try it again for this shelf space. All right, everyone, so that will do it for this shoot. I just wanted to give you a little bit of peek behind the curtain on how I put an image together as far as shooting it. So part 2 will be a video where I'm sitting behind the computer and actually putting it together and showing you some of the subtle tips and tricks on Photoshop and how I put it together. Is this the end all be all? No, obviously not. Every photographer has their own different style and technique, but this is just mine. Maybe help out some newbie photographers, or at least give you something new to think about when you're doing your next shoot. Anyway, leave me a comment if you like this type of stuff. I'm fairly new to this whole YouTube thing. If you enjoyed it, yeah, as always, give me the thumbs up. If you hated this video, make sure to hit the thumbs down twice. Just make sure to do that. But yeah, if you got any questions over anything, hopefully I can continue to do this. Leave me a question below, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. See ya.